Now we are going to take a look at another tool that we can build with the knowledge that we learn in this course, and that's going to be a password checker. Now, for password checking, of course, there can be different types of things you're doing. One is that you are looking at the strength or complexity of a password, whether it's long enough to be secure, and so on and so forth. But that's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about actually seeing whether a password that you're thinking about using is already used widely and whether it's actually been exposed in a number of breaches. And for that, we're going to use a great website called haveibeenpwned.com. And here you'll see this website has a very, very simple format. There's just one field and it's for email. And that's because it looks through a large database of the largest breaches and the most recent breaches. And it shows us whether an email appears in those breaches in the lists that have been exposed out of the data. And it is a website built by a security analyst named Troy Hunt. He is a great thought leader in the cybersecurity space. I recommend you check out his work. You check out this website and check out his other writings because there's a lot to learn from this guy about cybersecurity. And he's providing this as a service for people to check their email and also their passwords to see whether those have been pwned. And pwned is a word that is associated with hacking. So essentially, if somebody or something's been pwned, they've been hacked and breached and compromised. And that's a word that you'll run into in the cybersecurity readings and work that you'll do after this course. And here you'll see that the password layout is very similar. There is room for just one input, and that's password. Let's try it out. And the password I'm putting in is secret. And then we try it, and it says, oh no, pwned, and it's been pwned this many times before, which means that it's a bad idea to use it because, as we'll cover in the course, one of the tricks that attackers use is they'll go through a list of common passwords and try them on a particular site to see if that lets them in. And then we can try another one. I'm just going to try password with lower capital P. So with lower, it's 3.5 million. And then with capital, oh, look, it's also 114,000, not any better. So the demonstration that I'm doing here is that there are some common passwords it's best to avoid. And we want to make sure that we don't include them in our sign-up process, either for ourselves or for our users. And so what we want to build is a tool in Python that will let us avoid the most common passwords as reported on haveibeenpwned.com. Luckily, there's this API, and the API is really good. It's got a lot of solid documentation, and we're just going to use it for the passwords functionality. There's also other data you can get about the breaches and most common data in it. But what's interesting here in terms of a tool demonstration is you don't pass in a string because we want to preserve password privacy. So here you're passing in a hash of the first 5 characters of the password that you want to use. And the API will look through a hashed list of all the passwords that have been breached and are in the files, and it will give you back a hashed result of the full password. So for example, if you look for pass, it's going to send you back password, password1, password123, all as hashes, and then it's going to include a count of how many times those have been used. And then on your end, as the API user, you convert that back into strings, and then you can report on, hey, this password's been matched, and here's how many times it's been used. So we are going to take a look at the code, and we're going to run it, and we'll see how easy it is to build a tool like this in Python. Here we are on the command line, and we're going to run the password checker tool. And you'll see that it reports to us that the error is the following arguments are required, password. And you'll see that there's this nice little usage instruction here that says, here's what you can pass in to the password checker. including the required argument password. So let's try it with the flag, and we'll try the help flag, and you'll see it has this nice printing of the ways that you can use it and the version and the name of the tool, and we'll learn how to build this in the course. And we can also look at what happens when we pass the V flag, and it shows us the name of the script and it shows us which version it is. We'll take a look at how to build things like this, and we'll also see how to take in a password, or let's say, just to make it interesting, we can see if we say secret here, how to take in this configuration and how to use it. And we went to haveibeenpwned.com, and here we see that the password secret found, and it's been found 221,000 times, just like we saw on the website. So we're connecting to the API, getting back the results, parsing through them, getting our result. And so we can take a look at what the code looks like to achieve this. And we can go over to the editor, and you'll see here the code starts with some imports, and it involves hashing, it involves making requests to the API, it involves parsing the arguments, and all of this will be covered in the course. We'll learn how to use all these tools, we'll learn how to put them together into our own cybersecurity tools. Here we are using the API. Here we are testing for the response code, and then we are building logic that hashes and analyzes the passwords that we get back, and then prints the results based on what we find, whether things match or not. And I'll include this code for you to look at in the lecture notes for this video. And I hope you enjoy the course, because we'll be covering a lot of stuff like this. We'll learn to build tools, we'll learn where we use tools like this, how to be effective at cybersecurity, and how to use Python for securing our systems and applications. See you in the course.